So it is that time again to go through what I have read through. So this is my October reading wrap up. My hair is absolutely wild. It is so hot in this house. So I'm going to quickly shove it up in a bun on top of my head, and then we'll go through all the books that I read in October. And I am shocked at how many physical books I read, considering I really thought this was going to be a Kindle heavy month. Because if you watched a couple of my previous videos, I mentioned that I was going away at the beginning of October, and I went to Benidorm with my family from the 1st to the 8th of October. It was such a brilliant getaway. I loved every second, even though, yes, we did get ill on holiday, but that's beside the point. We all had an amazing time, and I just want to carry on with my book content and start working on this again, because now I'm in that headspace, and I really want to focus on this, and I really want to believe that 2025 is my year, as that is only just around the corner. So let me stick my hair up and we will go through the books that I read. Okay, it is up. It's not straight, it's just doing its thing, but it'll have to do. So I'm just going to check my Goodreads to see how many books I actually read. 1, 2, 3. So I read 14 books in the month of October. And I can't remember which month that it was. I actually read 15 books in 1 month, which was still shocking to me. And the fact that I read 14 books in October is shocking me even more. So, first book. Actually, I'm going to go with the books that I took on holiday with me. And if you follow my Instagram, if you don't follow my Instagram, it is linked down below in the bio, along with my other social media accounts. And so I took 3 books away with me, and I did take my Kindle. However, I did manage to read 3 physical books that week. First one was Morbidly Yours. This shocked me so much. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did pick it up on a whim. We have Daydream by Hannah Grace. This book was already in my bag. I packed this book and I was like, this book's coming with me. But the day before we flew, we walked into Asda and I seen the books, and it was this book that I actually picked up first. This was the book I knew I wanted to get, and I was like, but it's in the 2 for £9, and I can't just get the one. I had to get it a friend, so we got it a friend. So the first book that I actually read whilst away was Morbidly Yours. This one I rated a 5-star. I honestly wouldn't change a thing about this. And it's the way Callum and Lark come together. Lark moves to Ireland. She wants to change her life. She wants to reinvent herself in some sort of way. And she wasn't looking for anything but just to be herself, and she made some amazing friends along the way. And then there is Callum. Callum is an undertaker, and for him to get the company that his father owns, well, his grandparents owned it, but for him to get the company instead of his father, he has to be married, and there is certain stipulations around this. And them two just grow this bond, and she tries to help him find a partner, but all he can think about is her in some sort of ways. He goes on all these dates, but it always comes back to her, and it is just the sweetest thing I read in a long time. I was glued. I didn't want to put it down, even though I had to put it down at some point. And when I finished it, I was like, no. Why has it ended? Did it have to end? And honestly, 5 stars. Loved every moment. And then we have the little coffee shop of terrors. This was a good read. I wasn't expecting the twists that we had. I generally thought that, what was his name? I generally thought that it was going to be Ben. Sorry, spoiler if you've not read it, but I'm not going to say exactly who or what it was. But I generally thought it was going to be Ben that was committing all this hideous things that was going on in this little shop. but it really wasn't, and so much happens in this. Adele is the main female character, Ben is the male main character, and so Adele is trying to break out on Broadway, doesn't completely go the way she wants. Did I say Belle or Adele? I am losing my mind. I am filming this at 9:30 at night because my little girl's only just gone to sleep, so please bear with me. And Adele is trying to break into Broadway. That doesn't quite work, but then she is gifted this coffee shop. I think it is by her aunt. I'm pretty sure it was her aunt, but she was gifted this coffee shop, but certain things had to stay within the coffee shop, and including the barista, which was Ben. But Ben's hiding this big secret from her because usually her aunt dealt with this, and one thing leads to another, and it was quite fun to read, and I rated it a 4-star read. It was fun, it was cozy, it was just everything you could want, but wasn't quite a 5-star. And then we have Daydream by Hannah Grace. What can I say about this book? Hallie and Henry, oh my god, the way these two come together is just beautiful. Oh, I've got itchy nose. I loved every second, and I like how they understand each other on a deeper level. Like, Hallie knows how to help Henry, and Henry helps Hallie, and they just become like, it's like fake dating, but he's showing Hallie these experiences that she could have with other men eventually in the future, but they're both fighting these feelings towards each other. But what Henry does in the end is melts my heart. The way he supports Hallie and the way Hallie supports him, it's like all you could ever ask for out of a relationship is the love, the trust, the support, and just to know when each other needs help, because you can't give 100% all the time. And it's with these two, they know how each other are they grow to know when something's bothering them, and Hallie understands how Henry's mind works because his brain doesn't work like a normal person's brain. And I love how we also have the side characters that are from the previous books as well, and I just loved it. It was 5 stars, and if I could read this again for the first time, I absolutely would do anything to do that because it was such a good read. And then we have The Ex-Hex. This took me the whole month to read. I kept stopping and starting because I really couldn't get into it that much. But when I did, I managed to read most of it within a day. Like, I'd read a chapter a day, and then I got to the halfway point. I was like, you know what, it's time to finish. Buckle down, get your energy drink, and just sit there, read, enjoy every moment. And this is between Vivian and Reese. So Reese is a pen hallow, and his family sort of created this town. They made the town what it is, and Vivian didn't realise she was a witch until her mum passed away. And I think her mum passed away. I'm pretty sure her mum passed away, and her mum was secretly a witch, but didn't say anything because that wasn't her sort of thing. She didn't want to be a witch. But then one night, when her and Reese broke up in their teens, I think it was early teens, early 20s, something silly, and she decided to have a hot bath, nice glass of wine, and her and her friends decided to hex her ex, which is the ex-hex. And they have to find ways to break the hex, and when there's obstacles obviously in their way, stuff happens, but I couldn't quite grip to it, which is why I rated this a 3-star. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just okay. And I know a lot of people really enjoyed this book, but to me it was just okay, and that was it. And then we have Puckin Sweet. So this is the 3rd book in the Jacksonville Rays series, and I have read the novellas to this as well, and this series has me hooked, and I cannot wait until Emily Raff puts a notification out on Instagram or something like that to say when the next book is being released, because she does say at the end of the book there is another book coming. But Puckin Sweet is between Poppy, Colton and Lucas, Novak and Colton, and the way them two men respect Poppy and how they almost fight over her, and the way Poppy comes into her own. She's not just this the PR woman. I had to get my brain just because of how late it is. She's not just some PR woman. She has her own personality, and she sort of don't want to let that show because she's sort of the outcast of her family. But what she makes of herself and what them two make of the relationship that they are in is just stunning. And that was a 4-star read. And we then have Haunt Your Heart Out, and I rated it a 3 stars. And this, I can't even remember the main characters' names, but I'll pop a picture of the book either this side or this side, whichever side I can be bothered to put it up at this point. And I can't actually remember much about this story apart from this guy comes into town, and the female main character used to make these spooky videos when she was a teen and posted them up on social media. But this guy, his friend, and a few crew members try to create this film, create this documentary of all the hauntings that happen in this town. And the female main character sort of like sets them up in a way she makes it more elaborate, but without them knowing. And they was going to enter into a film festival to get the money, but the female main character and the male main character do come together in the end, which is all that I can actually remember from this book, hence why it was a 3 star. We then have The Christmas Tree Farm, and this is the 3rd book in the Dream Harbour series by Laura Gilmore. This just reminds me a bit of Gilmore Girls, like a cosy, I love watching Gilmore Girls this time of year. I mean, I watch it all year round. It's my comfort show. But this was just magical. So I think it's Kira. Yeah, Kira is not a big fan of Christmas. She uses her inheritance or trust fund, whatever it is, to buy this Christmas tree farm with no intention to open it. But with the town on her back, she decides eventually that yes, she's going to open it because she needs this money. She needs money to update the house. And Ben is the brother from the main character in the 1st book. Ben is the main male character. He is the brother from the main character in the 1st book, and he's been tasked to figure Kira out, but he's always there to help. He has this sort of need to help everybody, but with her it's different. She doesn't want the help, she doesn't ask for the help, but he knows that she needs help, and he's used to other women taking advantage of him, but she's not doing that even though she feels like she is. But then they get sort of like snowed in for a little bit, and they make this own little fort in the living room because her heating is bust. So she has to set a fire up in the fireplace in the living room, and he even brings her mattress down for her so she can stay warm by the fireplace. He even cuts down a Christmas tree for her, and it's just so cute the way these two come together. And I know I read a lot of romance books, but there was just something about them, and I'm drawn to them. So I rated this a 4 star. So the next book I read was Spookily Yours, and I got this because it was like 99p on Kindle, and I thought, you know what, even though I didn't enjoy X-Hex, I want to try like a little romancy Halloween book, and Spookily Yours was only like 99p, and I thought, you know what, let's do it. And I did rate this a 3 star, and Willow she's sort of lost in a way, even though she owns a cafe with her sister, and she lost her cat a while ago. Her cat passed away, and her sister's like, go on, go adopt a new cat, go find a new familiar. And she sort of like gets pushed into it, and then when she does, she sort of feels like this call into this cat, not to realise, and she doesn't realise that this cat is a demon until he speaks. And I'm pretty sure his name was Damien or something like that. I can't even remember. I just know this cat was a demon, and she has to figure out how to break the hex or some sort of curse that was on him that turned him into a cat full time. But he has these powers in the end, and it was so weird how this book sort of like, it was good at some parts, and then some parts I got really bored. And I don't know, I can't even remember much about it apart from I'm pretty sure his name's Damien or something. My mind's just, and he oh, my mind's gone blank. It's in there, it just don't want to come out. Um, he that eventually tells Willow that she is his mate, and she's so confused by this because she is human, she's a witch, and obviously humans sort of believe in soulmates and happily ever after. Like, this person was made for them, it was fate, and she's coming to terms with that, and they eventually have this life together, and that was that. So that was a 3-star read. And then I read the second book, which is The Witches of Pleasant Grove. That is I'm pretty sure it's a duology, and I'm thinking it's staying as that. And that was Wickedly Yours. And this is between Luna and Zane. So Zane sends his brother out to find Luna, doesn't quite go to plan. And then Zane ends up going to find Luna himself. They do, and they have these moments. But Zane asks Luna to go back to the demon realm. And at first she's like, do I, don't I? But deep in her heart, she was going to say yes. There was just something between these two, and it was so much better written than the first book, to be fair. The way these characters support each other and come together, I just love that sort of thing. And Luna finds who she is. She's not burying her powers deep down like she used to. And Zane helps her find the power deep within and helps her learn how to use her powers. And they come together to defeat his dad. And Luna has these visions because, yes, she is a witch. She may be human, but she is a witch. And she has these dreams where she sees her visions, and she can't quite piece them together. She doesn't quite understand until one day she knows what certain visions means. Hence why this book was a 4-star. It was so much better than the first, and I'm just glad I actually got some cutesy, spooky reads in this month. And then we have a book that was actually on my October TBR. I only read 2 books from that TBR, and this is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I'm still getting used to this camera. I can't get used to how it's like, this is like the opposite side for me on the viewfinder. And this is between Rowan and Zara. Zara knew Rowan's granddad, and she come up with this idea, but her ex stole the idea. But when Rowan's granddad Brady passes away, the 3 brothers are left with a letter, and they have to fulfill what's in this letter to get their parts of owning the theme park, whatever you want to call it. Dreamland, that's what it's called. So they have to do their parts to figure out if they're going to get a certain percentage or a certain amount of money from Dreamworld. And Zara got drunk one night and filled in this like questionnaire survey thing of how things could improve in the park and what she thought. And the design team read what she put, passed it on to Rowan as like, you need to read this, you need to see what this girl can do. And eventually she gets a role, and she becomes one of the designers for the park and pitches all these ideas of how to make it better. And after one of the meetings, Rowan kisses her so passionately that they both can feel the buzz. But they both fight their attraction to each other at first. Obviously, they both come together. But in the letter Brady left Rowan, he mentions that someone brought back the light to him about Dreamworld and made it feel magical again. And he didn't realise that person was Zara. And so much happens between these two. It's back and forth, seeing each other, not seeing each other, seeing each other, not seeing each other. So much conflict happens, but they do come together in the end. And this was a 4-star read. I then read something that was a bit different for me, and that was Britney Spears' The Woman in Me. This was once again on my TBR. And even though I had like 6 books and read 2, at least I read something right. But I loved learning about what Brittany went through, everything that she went through and how she become who she became. And the fact that she didn't give up, even though she had so much pressure. She dove deep down in herself, and she brought the courage to keep fighting, keep living each day, because she had her kids to fight for. Her marriages may have broke down, things may have happened in her life, but she was still her, and they definitely made her a stronger woman. And I loved every second of this. It was a 5-star read. I didn't want to put it down, but I had to keep putting it down because obviously I have 2 kids to look after, a home to run, so sometimes I can't just sit and read non-stop, even though I would absolutely love to do that. But what she goes through, all the stuff she goes through with her dad, an alcoholic, the conservatorship, coming out of that, even Jamie Lynn performing one of her songs on the stage, like, why would you do that to your sister? Like, come on, your sister earned that money to buy the house you're in, earn the money to buy the house that her parents are in, and Brittany's money basically means that the family are living well above their own means because they didn't earn that, she did. But it's just seeing so much insight to a world that we have no clue what really happens, and it was so good. I am getting pins and needles really bad. I shouldn't sit with my legs crossed, but I haven't got enough room in my bedroom to put the tripod really high while my chair's up. So the next book I read was The Glass Girl. This was released in the beginning of October. It actually arrived while I was away, and a lovely friend of mine picked it up from outside my back door and was like, I've got your parcel, it's safe, it's not going to get wet, it's with me, I'll give it you back when you get home. And when I started reading this book, the emotions I felt. So this is about Bella. She's a 15-year-old girl. She's at breaking point. Everyone's like, Bella, do this, Bella, do that. Oh, Bella, you can do it. You do anything. Bella, 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 Bella. And it gets to her so much to the point where she turns to drink to numb everything, because she lost her grandma. She lost her boyfriend. She's slowly losing her friends. She's slowly losing who she is as a person. Her parents are divorced, and she's taken time to look after her little sister, who's challenging to look after, but no one's really paying attention to her. So Bella goes to these parties, gets drunk, does weed, does whatever, and she's had a couple of blips where she completely blacks out from this. And then there is a time she goes to a party with her friend Lemon, another friend that's a girl and Lemon's friend. But Bella gets so drunk at this party that she's completely blacked out and she's throwing up everywhere. But her friends leave her at her mum's doorstep. So her mum's screaming, shouting. She ends up in the hospital, and she loses time in the hospital. Like, she doesn't know how long she's been asleep for because of how extensive the damage is to her liver because of all the drinking. And she eventually goes to rehab. She gets almost to the end of the month, and then a character called Charlotte shows a certain video, but you'll learn about if you read the book. And Bella just flips, like, she's gone. She lashes out, punches Charlotte so many times, and I'm like, yes, Bella, do it. Even though it was wrong, I was like, yes, Bella, you can do it. And she has to restart her month again. But Bella has the strength to realise in the end that she needs help, she needs support, she has to tell her parents her boundaries, and she respects her friend, I think it's Amber, who tells her she has an issue. So she's like, look, I cannot be your friend right now because you need to sort yourself out. This isn't going to end well. You need to sort yourself out. You're harming yourself. And then obviously after rehab she goes home. There's struggle getting back into the routine. She has a little blip and her days have to start again, but she realises she has to keep going, take one day at a time, keep trying, because anxiety is hard. Living with anxiety is mentally draining, and it can be physically draining on your body too. And I know a lot of people find ways to self-medicate, and all that on top of losing your grandma, anxiety, losing your boyfriend, and the pressure of home life. It's just all blew up for her. And the way Kathleen Glasgow writes this book really is a masterpiece. It was I have put down a 4-star read. It was a bit long, don't get me wrong. It's a chunky book. It's like a doorstopper. It's got to be 400 and some odd pages. Yeah, nearly 450 pages long. It was a bit long, but I loved every second. It wasn't quite a 5-star. I don't know why it wasn't quite a 5-star, but I just wasn't quite feeling it as a 5-star, but it really was a masterpiece. And the last 2 books we have are Christmassy books. And we have Santa's Baby. This was so funny. I was laughing so loud, and actually laughing out loud, that my daughter goes, "Mum, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?" It's not funny because she can't understand that I'm laughing at this book. And Phoebe is supposed to marry her best friend, but her best friend turns out to be gay. He was willing to marry Phoebe for the sake of his family, and in the end he called off the wedding. And then we have Archer. Archer is dressed up as Santa Claus, and Phoebe and Archer meet at the bar. They do not know each other's names at this point, and they have this one night stand where he is dressed in a Santa suit, she is still in her wedding dress. And they don't know each other's name, and she sneaks out the next morning with his Santa coat. And then 2 weeks, I think she says either 2 to 3 weeks after that night, she finds out she's pregnant. She goes through the pregnancy alone, but she has her family around her. And after Lincoln is born, she goes to find Lincoln's dad, and she moves away from home, and she ends up finding Lincoln's dad. And the way Archer comes across is so funny. He cracks me up. And the way Phoebe's brother Gavin comes along, his one-liners are spot on. And Phoebe realises she's falling for Archer so quick, so fast. It's like, this can't be happening. But Archer's sort of like battling himself, like, can I really have this kid? Is this kid really mine? And yes, they do have a paternity test to prove that he is the dad of said kid. And then they go on this whole journey of trying to figure out co-parenting. They spend Christmas together. They realise they want to be more than just co-parents. Like, they actually want to be a family. And in the end, they do become this family. It is a happy ever after. And my phone's just turned off, so I can't tell you the rating. I rated that a 4-star. Like, I had a lot of 4 stars this month. And then the last Christmassy book is also a Kindle book, and that was Tangled in Tinsel. This was a 4-star to me. Don't get me wrong, this book has no plot at all. It is purely smut. Like, this woman, oh my god, my mind's completely gone blank. I keep forgetting the names. She's like a party planner designer sort of thing, and she is decorating a home for a Christmas party. I'm sure, yeah, Christmas party. But the 4 boys that she's decorating for, they all end up getting snowed in. This is massive storm, and they try to proposition her to become theirs. These are all friends, these boys. Like, they've done this before. They've all shared the same woman at the same time. I'm trying to figure out the name. I've got to remember the name. Samantha, the female, I can't even get my words out. This book is making my mind go. Samantha is the female main character. And there is Alec, Jace, Reed and Cole. They are the 4 male main characters. Like I said, this book is purely smut. They proposition her, and they get up to some dirty things all over the house. And she takes 3 at once, and one then just all over her. And like I said, there is literally no plot apart from they get snowed into this massive cabin in the mountains, and they basically become foot buddies for a weekend. But then when it's time for Samantha to leave, they realise, actually, I don't want this to just be a weekend thing. But then they actually let her go until New Year's Eve. They come back and they decide, let's give it a go, basically. It is just pure smut. They're at each other from the get-go. She's got dirty thoughts, and so have they. So you don't even get much of a backstory between any of them. You just get the thinking of, oh my god, my boss is a hot sort of thing, and all the stuff that she wants to do to them. It was just so funny. It was a laugh out loud. dirty book, and I wasn't expecting it to be that dirty. I mean, I've seen stuff on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, people going, this book is dirty, this book is spicy, like, if you don't like smut, don't read it. And I was like, you know what, I like a good bit of smut, let's read it. And it shocked me to the core, but I couldn't put it down. I think I finished it within 5 hours. I was just like, next page. This book is just so funny, like, it's hard not to read. Luckily my daughter went to sleep early, so I could just flip through. My boy's alright, he can sit and play Fortnite for hours on end, he's in his element doing that. But me, pass me a book with a bit of smut, I'm alright. So that is the end of my October reads, and I cannot wait to share what I read in November with you in a few weeks' time, because the year is almost ending. We've not got many videos left to do of the year, and these wrap-up videos I find quite entertaining. Even though I'm not the best at them, I don't have any literary skills or anything like that, so describing books for me is just talking about basically what happens in the whole book. So that is the end of this video, and I will hopefully have more content for you very, very soon. And fingers crossed, I actually do Bookmas this year, because this is my first year on like booktube, and I really want to give Bookmas a try. So if you think I should give that a try, then comment down below what video ideas you would like to see for Bookmas. I have a few in my notes app, but that is all for now, and I shall see you later. Bye guys.